Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Don't play him tight, just get him in the boat. Oh. Today is part 2 of a series of videos that I'm doing on the glide bait, and it's really just kind of me trying to learn this technique a little bit better. I've caught fish on glide baits before, but I really just don't know this technique like back and forth. The first day we went out and I just threw this glide bait around, kind of told you guys kind of some basic principles of glide bait fishing and what I was learning. Today, I'm hoping is about catching. Anytime you are trying to learn a new technique, it's kind of best to go to a place where you know there's a lot of fish and where you can possibly catch something on that lure you're trying to learn. And today we have just that. It's got clear water, we got sunshine, and we got a little bit of wind on the water. So it should be perfect for the glide bait. I hope you enjoy this series. If you do, click that like button down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This video is brought to you by the Deep Dive app. Something I really like about this app is that it is based upon information from thousands of different data points from hundreds of different tournaments. The Deep Dive team went into all these tournaments to see kind of conditions, water temperatures, what lures were winning these tournaments, and they put it all into this app. Once you download the app, you can actually select the lake that you're fishing, water temperature, water clarity, whether that lake has vegetation, and if you're fishing in a protected area, along with a few other things. That app will spit out some strategies and lures that can help put you on fish a lot quicker. So there's a free version and there's a paid version. If you guys want to download that app, click that link down below in the description. Oh God, there he is, freaking giant. Golly. Oh my gosh, look at that. That was amazing. Hard to hold this fish. Look at that, he got the front hook. Look at how fat that joker is. We just got the first glide bait bass. Check this out. That sucker has a big old crappie down its throat right there. What an awesome fish catch. Probably about a 3.5 pounder. I'm just trying to get a feel for how the bass are gonna really commit and bite this bait. Gotta love that though. Look at that thing. Look how fat that guy is. Let's get him back and let's keep after it. Something that I learned just from that fish is actually just how important it is to just spend time throwing the glide bait, whether you're catching fish or not. And this is what we did on kind of that first video in this series, is I just went out there and threw the bait. I didn't catch any bass, but I just threw the bait and I really got comfortable with how this bait works in the water. I don't have to visibly have to see it now to be able to know exactly what that bait is doing. And with that fish that I just caught, I had twitched it 2 or 3 times and then paused that bait, and then I just felt my line jump and I just set in. I couldn't see the bait at all, but again, that's the point. The point is getting comfortable with the bait where you know what it's doing without being able to actually see it. Oh! Golly. Let's go, baby. I saw that one hit it that time. All right, there we go. Second glide bait fish. Got the front hook. I think that's really important. Anytime, not only just with a glide bait, but any bait that you throw, jerk bait, topwater, if they get that front hook, that usually means you kind of have the right color, that those fish are just hitting that bait right. Look at that guy. Not even a big one. That fish probably weighs 1.25 pounds. I mean, tiny little fish. But one big thing is just keeping it simple. I've been using the Storm Arashi glide bait a lot. And I'm very comfortable with this bait. I know it's not maybe the best glide bait on the market, but hey, you know what? It's catching fish and I'm getting comfortable with the glide bait. Gosh, that was fun. I actually saw that fish come up and poof, nail it. Oh, I love it.
Oh my gosh, that's a giant. That's another giant. Oh, let's go. Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, not a giant, but a stinking good one. Try to hold this guy. There we go. Oh my gosh, look at that sucker. Golly. This fish is kind of skinny, look at him. The hook set is really key with a glide bait. I think the hook set is so important with this bait, and the thing is that these fish are gonna hit it basically one of 3 different ways. They're either gonna absolutely, cork that thing, like bam, like absolutely jack it, or as you're kind of working that bait with the reel, you'll go to kind of reel and like you won't feel anything. It feels like somebody cut your glide bait off. Like you go to reel and there's no resistance or nothing, and what happens is a fish comes and hits it from the back and pushes that bait forward within their slack line. The other way is that you just go to reel and it feels like it just feels like there's too much weight, you know. And so those are the 3 ways that those fish are hitting this bait. And the thing that I think is really important is the hook set, because earlier today I had a couple of fish come up and swipe at this bait and I felt that big thump and I set the hook right away and I missed them both. And I just kind of came back through some of these same areas and I got bit again. And this time what I'm doing is I'm just continuing to work that bait when I get bit. This is the exact same thing that I do with a topwater. If you ever fish a topwater spook, the best thing to do is just continue to work that bait when a fish comes up there and hits it, because if you set the hook as soon as you see a big splash, a lot of times if you don't hook that fish, it actually kind of scares that fish away, and so that fish actually becomes like uncatchable, where if you just keep working the spook and he misses it, if you keep working it, he's gonna come back and hit it again, or he's gonna come back and hit it again. And the same thing happens with the glide bait. Those fish that I set the hook on immediately when I felt that thump earlier, I never got a second chance at them. But I just caught a fish here and I felt him hit it at first and I just continued to work that bait, and then I felt a ton of weight and then I just swung into him. Just learning a ton about this bait. I'm so jacked. It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, that is another big one. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Don't play him tight, just get him in the boat. Oh, yes, sir. Oh my gosh, look at that. Getting water all over my phone. Oh my gosh, dude, look at that sucker. Golly. Was that awesome? That was awesome for me. You know, some of you guys may be asking, why am I swinging those fish in the boat that I catch on the glide bait? And the thing is that, you know, I have listened to guys like Chris Zaldane and Carl Jacobson, who are kind of glide bait enthusiasts, talk about this bait a lot. And the big thing with swinging those fish in the boat is that, you know, this is a heavy bait. You know, this is a smaller version of a lot of these baits, and it still weighs 3 ounces. And with that being said, if a bass comes up to the surface and they shake their head on the surface with this bait, that's a lot of weight that can just move all over the place, and therefore it's easy for bass to shake a big glide bait like this. So it's really important that if you hook a fish, especially if you're fishing in a tournament situation, that you just crank that fish in kind of as much as you can and just flip that boat in. You kind of have to take the risk of maybe that fish coming off in the air, but getting that bass in the boat as quickly as possible, or if you're fishing from the shore, getting it up onto the shore as quickly as possible is really important, because it just gives that bass less time to throw this bait. So that's why I'm swinging all of these fish right in the boat. In the first video of this series of videos kind of dedicated to the glide bait, I had talked about how you can work the bait with your reel handle, kind of doing these half turns like this, and with your rod if you wanted to. And like I said, guys, I'm learning this. I'm trying to learn everything, and I actually am gonna take back what I said about working it with the rod, because I think it's probably the most important to actually use your reel handle and work it that way. And the reason being is that I want my rod pointed directly at my bait as I'm bringing it in. With my rod pointed right at that bait, I can really feel what that bait is doing under the water. Not only that, I can kind of visibly see my line. I can almost see my line going back and forth. And the other thing, keeping that rod pointed at that bait is probably the best for bite detection. You know, sometimes you can literally see your line jump, and then that way you can keep working that bait, and if you feel that weight like we talked about earlier, that's when you set the hook. So it's been a fun little session out here, swim bait and glide bait fishing. I wanted to come to a place where I knew I could get some bites, and that was what today was all about. If you guys want to watch the first video in this series, I'm going to link it right there. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.